One of the fundamental features in many programming languages is what we call debuggers. But let's first know about the word bugs. The word bugs in software and in computer science has a specific meaning, which is an error or some failure or fault in your program. When we write a code, we can cause a lot of problems. Sometimes for example, we might divide by 0, which is a big problem in some programming languages. And something like infinite loops, we learned how to make loops. Sometimes you have a problem in your loop and your loop is just working forever. Sometimes even our idea and approach to solve a problem itself is wrong. It takes time to minimize your bugs. You need to follow the coding guidelines, you need to validate the inputs, you need to initialize always your values, you need to modularize your work, and so on. It takes time to be a good software engineer. This is a nice code. Give a minute to read it. So it's very nice from you and for you to try to write a nice code. Sadly, this isn't that common in the industry. It varies from a company to another based on the guidelines and code review and the process. But it's very useful for you to try to maintain your code. Now, moving to the debugging, we said that the bug is an error, and we would like now to find this bug. There are two popular approaches for that. The one that you were trying so far is what we call the printing approach. You are suspecting that something is wrong in a specific line of code. You put print statements, and then you try to see what's wrong. It seems naive, but still very strong approach, and even in some in some big projects or some remote sessions, this might be your only way. There is also in real projects what we call loggers. The loggers or logging, we keep logging in our system step by step what we are doing. So sometimes when they tell us that the website crashed, then we try to get the logger, the log file. The log file will have all of the information till the point where the system crashed. We read this log to try to figure out what happened when the application were running yesterday at night, for example. So this is the first approach. The second approach, which is very nice and very useful in education, is what we call debugger approach, and definitely very useful in industry. The debugger is a tool that lets you trace your code line by line. It is very powerful because you can see exactly what's happening instead of just putting a lot of print statements. So most of the time when we suspect a problem, we put a breakpoint and we tell the debugger to move to this line so that it tells us what is happening exactly in this line. Typically, the different debuggers and the IDEs would be allowing this debugger facility, and also you can do debugging from the console screen. In the next session, we will learn how to use the debugger with PyCharm to debug our code.